They say that there is a right tool for every job. To drive a nail, you must use a hammer. To dig a grave, you must have a shovel. And to bust 3 swordsmen, you need another swordsman.
Greetings fanboys and fangirls, I'm Erod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster. As someone who grew up loving stories of swashbuckling swordplay, I can safely say that very few hold a candle to the Three Musketeers. Now the version that I read as a kid was actually a condensed version of the Three Musketeer stories made to fit into one book, as if it was just one story. But apparently the Three Musketeers' original adventures were released in short serialized portions which were published weekly in a French periodical, which makes the Adventures of the Three Musketeers a huge precursor to modern-day comic book series. The stories followed the adventures of D'Artagnan, a young sword fighter who wants nothing more than to be a musketeer, which are basically 17th century French secret service. So D'Artagnan travels to France, where he meets the 3 most famous musketeers of them all: Athos, the leader; Aramis, the religious one; and Porthos, the lovable man-whore. Now today's movie is yet another unnecessary remake, as there are literally dozens of movies depicting the adventures of the Three Musketeers, including a pretty solid one that was produced by Disney back in 1993. So to tell you all about it, here's a lover. Damn, I forgot again. Oh man. Okay.
Darth Lucas! Hey, somebody stole my Hardy Boy sleuthing kit!
What? Nerdlinger? You know, for someone who works on the internet, I sure do suck at using computers. Hey, Nerdlinger.
What happened?
Well, you were about to reveal Darth Lucas's identity, so...
He momentarily removed me from time and space.
Right, nobody knows sci-fi quite like you.
Excelsior!
Hey, while you're here, could you do a quick synopsis of Disney's The Three Musketeers?
You got it, mysterious masked man. Long ago, in 17th century France, it was a time of tyranny and oppression, but 3 brave men stood forward to put an end to the injustice that had taken over their fair country. And those men were Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, the bravest and most cunning heroes that France had ever seen.
Hey, what are you doing? I didn't ask you to talk about Disney's The Three Musketeers. I asked you to talk about the version that was produced by You know what? I can see how that might be confusing. Well, never mind. This movie's a remake, so everything you were gonna say is probably gonna be covered in the movie. Hey, look at this! We got Ray Stevenson, Christoph Waltz, Mila Jovovich. I love those guys. I wonder who directed this. Ah, fuck! So our movie begins with Summit Entertainment. Oh, great. The production company that brought us gems like the Astro Boy movie and the Twilight series, combined with the directing talent of Paul Anderson. This is great. The two go together like roadkill and dirty diapers. So our movie actually begins in Italy, where the Three Musketeers are on a secret mission to steal the blueprints to a war machine from Da Vinci's vault. So we meet Athos, who in this version is a ninja; Porthos, who apparently has super strength; and Aramis, who's Batman. What's next, Paul Anderson? Are you going to introduce our characters with stylized title cards like Quentin Tarantino or Troy Duffy?
Catching you.
Damn, and I thought it was a stretch when Kevin Monroe did that in TMNT.
It's a long way from the city to just drop in.
So our heroes separately acquire the keys necessary to get into the vault, and they even get an assist from... was this movie made for the hearing impaired? So Mila plays Lady the Winter. In the novel, she's Athos' ex-wife, who is later revealed to be an opportunistic vamp. In this movie, not only is she a part of the team, but she's...
Wonder Woman! Wonder Woman!
All the world is waiting for you and the power you possess. In your time to time, fight for your right.
Wow, over-stylized bullshit and over-glorification of your wife within the first 5 minutes of the movie. Congratulations, Paul Anderson, that's a new record.
Applesauce!
So the 17th century Ocean's 11 over here get away with the War Machine plan scot-free. But as expected, Milady betrays them. Apparently, she's working for one of the most hated enemies of the Three Musketeers, Lord Buckingham, played by Orlando... Oh my god, look at the hair and the mustache! Oh my god, you look like the love child of Johnny Bravo and John Waters. Oh, so we cut to a year later where we finally meet D'Artagnan. And wait a minute, D'Artagnan doesn't get a stylized title card like the other Three Musketeers? Milady, who's a supporting character at best, gets a title card, but not D'Artagnan, who's the main character of the original books. Paul Anderson, I demand an explanation! My wife can kill a zombie with her bare hands! Why do I even talk to you? Anywho, D'Artagnan receives his father's blessing and inherits his father's musketeer sword, and thus he is off to become a musketeer, but not before picking a fight with yet another musketeer villain, Rushford. Hey, wait, why did you pick a fight with such a dangerous swordsman?
Afraid I must ask you to apologize.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not in the habit of apologizing to Gascon yokels.
Not to me. To my horse. You've hurt her feelings.
Oh, just shoot him in the shoulder. So when D'Artagnan is not picking fights to defend the honor of his horse, Buttercup, he is inadvertently picking fights with all Three Musketeers, for no good reason. Which is actually very true to the source material, and it ends up leading to one of my favorite moments in the novel. You see, when D'Artagnan meets with his three opponents to duel, it is only then that he figures out that they are the famous Three Musketeers, the three men that he has admired all his life. The foursome is nearly arrested by the royal guard for quarreling in the streets, but they band together and fight off the guards, officially uniting as a team. It's like when the Justice League first came together to fight Starro. But I'm sure Paul Anderson is gonna fuck this up with some stylized shenanigans. Oh yeah! Swash, swash, buckle, buckle, motherfucker!
I've forgotten what it feels like.
That was amazing! Oh my god, he's gonna ruin this somehow, isn't he?
The view.
Ah, Richard.
Your Majesty's exceptionally alert.
What of Buckingham?
Majesty?
Well, what's he wearing these days?
Green, Your Majesty.
Green. Very interesting. And you had the gall to recommend blue. Of course it should be green. Why am I surrounded by incompetent idiots?
Wow. I wonder how actual French people might respond to this humiliating portrayal of one of their rulers. So as it turns out, Milady is playing every side, as the evil cardinal, played by Christoph Waltz, has contracted her to steal the Queen's diamond necklace and place it in Lord Buckingham's possession, to make it look like the Queen is cheating on the King. Of course, her alleged infidelity will lead to the King declaring war on England. Stop, 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 stop! This international crisis must pause for just 1 second. His Majesty needs relationship advice. Surely this requires the talents of his newest and most bravest musketeer.
Palms are sweating. His heart's pumping so loud he's afraid she might hear it. It's torture just to look at her. Have you ever felt this way?
Not until recently.
So what do we do? I mean, my friend, what does he do?
He should speak his heart. Be someone who cares for her and isn't afraid to show it.
Your Majesty, if you're serious about getting relationship advice, you might want to listen to somebody with a little bit more experience, like Zula.
Suppose you set your heart on somebody. What would you do to get him?
Grab him! And take him!
You'd grab him and take him.
Take him!
Oh, I'd go with her. So as all of France prepares for some celebration that is unimportant to the plot, Lord Prissy Pants makes his grand entrance.
Come dream with me tonight. Let's go to far-off places and search for treasures bright. Come drink with me tonight. Let's build a giant airship and sail into the sky. Let's watch the crowd.
Pull your waistband up like you expecting a flood, and stick your hair down flat like it was covered in mud. Trim up your pencil mustache when you see the country beach laying out at the beach. Do the creek and do the creek.
Meanwhile, Milady takes advantage of Buckingham's grand and distracting entrance to make her move and steal the necklace.
This is the Queen's Wing. You can't be up here.
Oh, thank goodness. I got so lost. I took a wrong turn and then a door slammed behind me. Oh, I've been trapped up here in the sun, in this heat.
It's going to be all right.
I'm in a faint.
You're in safe hands. You can't shoot. They'll hear you.
Wait, buddy!
Wait a minute, how can she jump around like that wearing 8 layers of clothes and a tight corset? Women can't breathe in those clothes, let alone do martial arts. And how did she know that the clock was going to strike the first bell of the hour without facing the clock? And another thing! What the hell was I complaining about? Oh well, probably wasn't important.
Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman.
All the world is waiting.
It's not long before the Queen discovers that her necklace is missing. However, she is smart enough to know that this is all an evil plan to start a war, and that the Cardinal is behind it all. Which leads me to ask, why in the hell isn't she in charge? She is way smarter and way more competent and way more mature than this nincompoop.
Checkmate.
There. What do you think of that?
Your Majesty is a force of nature.
She's like a super genius. She's like Sherlock Holmes, Mr. Spock, and Bugs Bunny combined. So the Queen confronts the Cardinal while he is doing what Christoph Waltz does best, being a badass. Oh yeah, this is going to be awesome when he faces off against one of the Musketeers. Or maybe he can fight all 4 of them at the same time. Oh man, that's going to be awesome! I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Left with no other choice, the Queen sends D'Artagnan's Fry, forced romantic interest, to get the Musketeers to go on a mission to retrieve the necklace and save the kingdom. The mission has a little snag though. Since Buckingham also has Milady under his employ, he will know everything the Musketeers will do before they do it. Since Milady knows the Musketeers so well. So this calls for the Musketeers to do something unpredictable by letting D'Artagnan be captured so he can distract Buckingham, and this of course gives Paul Anderson the opportunity to predictably rip off the Matrix.
Look out of the window. They weren't the decoys. I was. Permission to come aboard? Granted.
Now, believe it or not, everything that you just saw had nothing to do with getting the necklace back, as Athos already deduced that Milady kept the necklace for herself, and so they steal her. And after getting the necklace back, Athos is determined to kill Milady for betraying him at the beginning of the movie, and so she lets herself fall off the ship to spare him the pain of killing her. Wow, that was a really deep and hard-hitting moment. It shows the level of versatility that Paul Anderson can reach when— Action sequence! That's right, Rushford has his own flying Teddy Ruxpin ship, and he kidnapped the Fry, and he tied her to the front of the ship! Somebody is lobbying for the Villain of the Year award.
And the winner is... Maximilian Stark!
Class of 70 rules!
Maximilian Stark wins every year. And for those of you who are having a rough time remembering the moment in the novel where the Musketeers had a huge aerial battle, well, that's because it didn't fucking happen! So they shoot each other for a bit, they rip off Pirates of the Caribbean, and then finally the Musketeers demonstrate just why it would be so impractical to build a warship attached to a balloon. They crash into what I think is the Notre Dame Cathedral, and here, on this rooftop, on this day, D'Artagnan will take on Rushford to finally avenge Buttercup.
Come on.
Man, that sword is getting some major hang time.
You should have stayed in Gascony, boy.
And no anchovies. And I mean no anchovies. If I find anchovies on this thing, you're in big trouble. Finally, it took long enough to avenge that damn horse.
You should have apologized to my horse.
So the Musketeers crash the warship into the castle, give it to the king as a present, return the jewels, and avert the war, and that's it? That's the end of the movie? They didn't defeat Buckingham or the Cardinal, so there's no fight with Christoph Waltz? So that scene earlier was nothing but a big cock tease? Oh, now that just pisses me off. Oh, wait, there's a scene after the credits.
In case you're wondering, this isn't the afterlife. I'm not dead, and neither are you.
How did you?
Followed Athos. We fished you out of the channel.
Where are we going?
To France, of course. To get back what's mine and pay back. With interest.
He's sequel begging. Paul Anderson is sequel begging again. First Mortal Kombat, then Resident Evil, and now this? Alright, that's it. This movie's a salty swab of swashbuckling shittiness. The first fight when the Musketeers team up is awesome. Outside of that, if you're just looking for brainless, pointless, careless fun, then you might enjoy this. If you're looking for a faithful adaptation of the Three Musketeers, then you're shit out of luck. The fucking Three Musketeers candy bar represents the Three Musketeers better than this movie. This is yet another installment in a long line of modern movies that try to make old stories hip and cool, but end up butchering the source material by adding crap that doesn't need to be there. I like ninjas, Batman, flying warships, and sexy cat burglars as much as the next guy, but the fact of the matter is that the Three Musketeers doesn't need any of this shit. There's already a lot of great stuff in the novel. If you care to know my opinion on the other two Musketeer movies that I mentioned earlier, the live-action one is a lot closer to the spirit and tone of the novel, in spite of the few deviations they took from the original story. Kiefer Sutherland is a badass as Athos. And it's the kind of movie that you can watch with your whole family and everyone seems to enjoy something about it. The Mickey Mouse one is nothing but one cheap, silly gag after the other. But if you are a huge fan of the core Disney characters, then you shouldn't miss it. And I hope to God this movie doesn't get a sequel. Cause if Mortal Kombat and Resident Evil were any indication, then all the sequel begging really didn't fare very well for us in the end. So here's hoping that that sequel doesn't come. So that was one busted, thousands more to go. I'm Erod and I'm the... Oh, wait a minute. Let me write down a note to remind me to bring back a lover next week. Alright. I used to use this book to remind myself of stuff all the time. Oh wait, here's an entry for today to remind me of something that I need to worry about this week.
Let's make it all fun, all for love. Let the one you hold be the one you want, the one you need. 'Cause when it's all for one, it's one for all. When there's someone that you know, then just let your feelings show and make it all for one and all for love. When it's love you make, I'll be the fire in your night. Then it's love you take, I will defend, I will fight. I'll be there when you need me. When honor's at stake, this vow I will make. Yeah, that is all for one, all for love. Let the one you hold be the one.
Join the Legion, suckers!